Welcome to the Numerology and the Astrology for May 22nd, 2020. If you add all those numbers up, you get the number 13. If you add the 1 and the 3 together, you get the number 4. The number 4 is a number of neutral mind, and neutral mind is a very high-level game, so it takes a lot of mental discipline, emotional self-control in order to find that calmness and peace inside and to remain neutral and objective as you observe the world that's in the chaos that it's in. And so today I found it interesting that it's a neutral mind number day, which means we're supposed to be working on being in neutral mind, when the astrology is hasty and agitated. And it's like here's the numerology calling for calmness and peace while everything else is getting activated and agitated. And one of the things that I talk about with the number 4 is that the only way to test to see if you're truly neutral is to put you in chaos. And so today is one of those astrologically sort of not chaotic as much as it is hasty and reactive and irritable and agitated sort of days. And yet we're supposed to maintain this state of decorum and this sense of calmness within yourself and watch the pandemonium of life circle madly around you. And so it's always a challenge to choose equilibrium, not frenzy, and to live life from your center. So know that many forms of disagreements threaten that peace. And so learn to not let the negativity disrupt your inner knowing and calmness. And the best way to handle things is to keep communication channels open and talk through the fears, which is the number 4. So when I was doing fire walking, one of the ways that you dispel fear and you get people into an altered state of higher resonance is that you make them talk about their fears. And, I always find it so fascinating that people just like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about their fears. They don't want to talk about what they're feeling. They don't want to talk about any of that. And I'm like, but as long as you don't talk about it, it actually controls you. It actually completely controls you. So the number 4 says to maintain a state of neutrality and calmness. The key is communication. So it's a communication number. It's about mediation and negotiation and diplomacy and talking through the fears. So don't let your fears get magnified in this moment. So if you would just talk about them, share them, you're going to discover that, what is sometimes real is real and fear, but then sometimes you notice that your mind is actually making up a problem. It's actually causing a problem. I remember something one of my therapist client friends of mine said. He said, you would think after 55 years my mind would be my friend. But he said, after 55 years my mind has lied to me, made shit up, and exaggerated the hell out of my weaknesses. So why would I listen to it? And so again, in Buddhism, the mind is never anything that you're supposed to trust. It's a machine. It's designed to do comparisons and to kind of point out things and create memories, but it's not really helpful in finding neutrality and balance, even though I know so many times the mind's argument is that, well, if I could just understand something, then I could let go and be at peace. But there are a lot of things in the world that have no explanation, and you aren't going to get an answer to really easily, so then what are you going to do? So at the moment, we do not need any more problems. At the moment, we do not need any more issues arising. At the moment, we really don't need everybody making up stuff and making things worse than they are because they're pretty intense. So as a result, it's like what is on each of our plates is more than enough. Cultivate your own inner sense of calm and balance and talk, communicate, your fears and let your friends go, well, it's something to be afraid of, but do you really have any control over it? And is it true? Because what I find is that a lot of the things that my mind makes up actually are not true. All right. The astrology for today. The new moon is in Gemini. And this much needed air element is exceedingly strong, and it can make you feel highly restless and anxious. And this is a good time for opening to new ideas, sharing with friends who fell by the wayside during the virus, and even taking short trips. Mercury connects with retrograde Venus until June 24th, and now is the time to have that hard conversation about relationships and finances, because so much is going retrograde, and your best option is to stay adaptable. Know that all of the ideas that surface will not necessarily manifest, and those that do will have to be adapted and shift as major circumstances magnify and alter as we move towards the summer solstice and all of these eclipses that are happening in June and July and all the retrogrades. It's time to bring practical Saturn into the wildness of Aquarius. Stay grounded, and you can use the Aquarius energy to create a win-win situation for yourself. There is a Sun-Saturn trine that occurs in the morning. This will help you feel more disciplined and help you find moderation in your choices and actions. There are many responsibilities on your plate right now, and know that you have the ability to do them. By focusing on feeling grounded, and when the disturbances in the world happen, then you will be able to handle them with more grace. Enjoy the normal duties and obligations. Practical is a wonderful distraction from the world's upsets. You might feel a bit in the dark, but you will be challenged to follow such intensity because the chaos refuses to be predictable or follow any of the old rules in your life. The coming weeks promise lots of changes, so while you want to be clear, know that clear and concise conclusions are not possible at the moment. More effective communication is important in the weeks ahead. There is about to be a lot to process. All your expectations will need to be adjusted. Everything is about to feel way too much with not enough opportunity. You are being led in new directions. The options are diminishing, forcing you into the only available direction. While that may not be what you wished for, it may be the only choice available. My quote for today: in any moment, you could be gone. Life is not promised to be forever or long. That is why you have to do what you can, learn to love, and do your best to understand. Choose the moments that are special to you. Use them as the chaos ensues. Much will change in this next year. Many will die, and many will fear. You can be a light of hope, as everyone will be walking a tightrope. So as a result, it's like, my blog for today is, I just want everybody to find like little places of joy over the weekend and really get yourself out and get yourself into nature and sit your butt down on the ground and allow yourself to balance your energy field out in a constructive way. Do not overreact to everyone else's overreactions. Step back, allow people to kind of regroup and find their own center again. And sometimes, feeding the fire is not a good idea. And there's a lot of fires that people want to feed at the moment. And I go, it's actually better to not put any wood on the fire at all. Let somebody have their process. Let somebody have their choices. Let them make up the shit in their head that they're going to make up, that has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. So, because you can't change what people are going to think. I mean, you can only change yourself, and you can only stay true to yourself and true to your core. Over and over again in this lifetime, I am grateful for an unbelievable strong spidey sense that I can only attribute to either great guardian angels or past life knowledge or information. That I have feelings that are like a creepy crawly feeling sometimes, and I oftentimes don't know what it is. I can even not know who it is exactly, but I can feel it. And whenever I feel that feeling, I know to not jump, to not move, to not go, to not leap, to stay put, to regroup, to feel into what's true. And I want everybody to learn that lesson for yourself if at all possible, because what's coming up astrologically in the world is going to require a level of stability and center that I think most people have not practiced. And this is where people can kind of lose it and do really inappropriate things at the wrong time. And so, just stay into yourself and like listen to your spidey sense. And if your spidey sense says, I don't know why, but something says no. And I find that every time I have listened to that, I end up sometimes 10, 20 years down the road, I actually find out why I had that experience. And I want you to start to listen to that intuition inside, because if you're looking for a logical reason for intuitive knowingness, you are going to be incredibly disappointed, because you sometimes don't get it ever in a lifetime, much less, being able to make sense out of it all, and yet, there is a reason. Some things are not yours to do. Some things are not what you signed up for. Some things are not what you are charged to do in this lifetime. And I think that's another important place to know and go, is to, what is it, your mission? What's your mission? What did you come in to do? You can't do everything. You absolutely cannot do everything. And so you do what is resonant with your energy field. And I am incredibly grateful that there are people that are helping, the starving children in places and the dogs that are being run over on the streets of India. I'm so grateful that there are people that is their mission and purpose, and that is not my mission and my purpose. And you can make yourself miserable expecting yourself to be this, magnificent being, when all you need to be is your best self. And that also means to not copycat other people. I remember when I was working in Beverly Hills, and my agent in Beverly Hills said, I'm going to make you into the next Marianne Williamson. And I lost my shit. I was like, I don't want to be Marianne Williamson. She's a great Marianne Williamson, and I'm not her. I'm not her. I don't have her tools or her skills or her reference points or her wisdom. I have mine, and I have my wisdom, and I want to share that. I absolutely do want to share that with people, but I'm not going to try to mimic somebody else, because that just ends up making you feel miserable and unhappy. Okay? All right. You guys have a good day. Bye.